Armed with MS Excel, some duct tape, and a dream, I built a time machine and traveled back to 395 CE to start the Industrial Revolution a full 13 centuries ahead of time. How did I do it? By spamming the most toxic, squalor-inducing, disease-spreading, yet lucrative pieces of real estate across the entire ancient world. Join me in crushing troublesome work unions and rampaging barbarians to build a fully industrialized yet disease-free, high-happiness empire in Total War Attila. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, I have something to share with you. Something has been bugging me ever since the release of Total War Attila, way back in 2015. This is going to be a 10-year game, and people don't build industry buildings. Now, industry buildings give you more money. Of course, they are going to really screw with your sanitation, and of course generate a lot of negative public order. Therefore, people are worse. They say, yeah, it's not possible to do. The bad outweighs the good. However, I'm here to show you that no, it isn't. I can make a lot more money, including losing money through corruption, say 20% corruption early game, we can move it to 40%, 60%, and 80% very late game. I can still make a lot of money from a nonsense province such as Pannonia, which you abandon early game. Now, what have we been doing ever since Total War Attila came out? We would build farms because you are scared and you are running from the cold. The cold is creeping in along with the Huns. Now, of course, the weather is something that we can't blame the Huns for. I'm pretty sure the Romans tried. But I'm going to say the weather isn't that much of an issue. I can fight it. How am I going to fight it? I'm going to be able to make sure that I get enough food even when the fertility falls to 1 in the very late game. Pannonia is a fertile province when you begin, but it drops and goes down to fertility 1. And therefore you spam farms. So let's go through what people generally do. You spam a bunch of farms and a bunch of public order buildings. So for civic, slot 1, you have 6 slots in your cities, 4 slots in each of your towns. You put in an elder hall because research is good. It gives okay public order. It gives you +9 public order, a little bit of money. That's good. You're gonna throw in a food farm because I'm scared for food. We're going to put in a mead hall, which gives fantastic amount of money, a little bit of squalor, but money. And of course, a war hall. So let's change this to a warlord. That's what you can, because you can't have 2 elder halls. Sorry. Now, what you do in your towns is that you build up a lot of town levels, because you have the Huns coming in. You want this is one of their favorite places to park at Sirmium. So you build up your city to level 2, your barbarian town to level 3, so on and so forth. And therefore you spam more farms. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you are persisting in folly. And this is a place which has got a resource such as furs, which you throw in because yes, it gives you food, +90, quite a lot, which does not get affected in case the weather changes. So even if the weather creeps in, it's very late game, your fertility has gone completely to 1, you'd still get 90 food irrespective. But what is your income taking everything into account? Your income from this province is 7,525. Your actual income would be around that, and let's put in 1.1. So your actual income would be 10% more because you have got a food market which gives you 10% on all buildings. So that's I put in 10%. But you have to contend with corruption. This is say early game, you've got 20% corruption. You are down to 6,600. And therefore you think that why do I need to keep this province, let me let go of this, pull my empire closer, let go of all of these outlying provinces, but you're making a mistake. Reason is, the more you abandon, the more power you give to the Huns. So the more they burn, the more time you are not attacking them, they are attacking you. They are able to encamp, they are able to make a lot of extra troops and come at your core province, and they might get you at a place where you really don't want them to be. Now, I have played both the Eastern and Western Roman Empire at legendary difficulty. I have not lost a single battle, and I have declared war on every faction as soon as I see them. So, trust me, I know where I'm going with this. Now, you can say that, all these are very late buildings. You would need a lot of growth to go ahead and build all of this. And food helps in growth. Therefore, you spam farms. However, what I did is I plotted the amount of food and how much growth it gives you. So if you have early game 50 food, you would get +1 growth globally across all your provinces, which around 100 goes to 2, then around 250 goes to 4, and at 350 food, you max out to get +6 growth. How do I know this? I built more farms. So if I pull the data over here, you can see when I have 1,000-ish food, so 500 and 956 food, I still have 6 growth. So any amount of food that I get beyond 350 or 370 food globally is useless. So across my entire empire, to maximize the growth that I get passively through food is going to be 370. So don't spam farms. Let's get back to this. Now I have spammed farms over here mindlessly, and I've gotten 27 food. So it would take me, so if we have 380 food needed by 30, if I have 12 provinces or 13 provinces, I have already maxed out my growth which I would get through food. So yeah, you're definitely end game going to have more than 13 provinces. If you don't have more than 13 provinces, my guy, you need to watch my series on how I dominate as the Eastern and Western Roman Empire. Trust me, guys, I know what I'm talking about. Now, let's look at the other issues. We have got early game a public order of +15 for Pannonia province through spamming a bunch of public order buildings and spamming a bunch of farms. Now, once you complete the first year of research, you get +1 public order across your entire empire. It's pretty easy to get. You get it within 10 to 12 turns. So you would have +1, +15, +16 late game. So that's quite late game when you have more or less way towards the end. You get +21, and including all the technologies, you get +26. So this province is giving you +26 public order. Sure, when you start out at 0 public order, you do want your public order to go to 100, because when you go to a +100 public order, you get 8% more tax that comes on top of this 8,278 we're making. That's good money. But my contention is, once you get there, you are throwing money out of the window every turn you persist with these high public order provinces. You would rather have this final public order as close to 0 or a non-negative number, so +1, +2, +3, or very close to 0, -1, -5, depending on your situation. Now, this is Pannonia. You are always going to have armies over here, because as I said, Huns will come to raid over here. They love Sirmium. This is their picnic spot, right? So we are going to not worry that much about public order when we are going to build a bunch of industry in Pannonia. Now, I have taken Pannonia because of all the wrong reasons. So this is just to showcase what I can do with the province that you actually throw away. Now, let's come to industry. Why industry? Industry has got a great benefit is that it not only gives you more money, because that's evident, we are here to make more money, right? What, as a barbarian faction or as a great migrator faction, that's the vast majority of all the different factions which are there in the base game of Attila Total War, right? So all of these factions, they get their special troops from industry buildings. And I also forgot the Slavs. The Slavs also get their special troops like Slavic large shields, which are fantastic units, from industry. Now, what you don't do in Attila generally is that you don't build industry, except in one province, which is left far behind, way in the interior, which used to be your capital when you started out, where you were making these axes and these high tier units. But as you grow your empire and you start spamming farms, you lose your offensive ability, because your armies have to travel from your core province where it has the industry all the way to the point of tension. And where is the tension? It's in your frontline province. So in your frontline province, you want to have industry. Now my contention is that I want more money and I want troops present at the front line. Let's combine these two. What do I get? More and more industry. So industry is the key which is going to help us win the battle. So move over virgin farms. Welcome to shared industries. We are going to go over what we're going to do with Pannonia. Same province, same resources, but we are going to plug in industry, industry, industry. One industry at the highest level, making bones, for which you don't need any special resources, just research. You are going to get 2,000 gold. 2,000 gold is the money that you're going to make right here. That's your income from industry. Now, if we compare to what a goat farm makes, so let's go over here. Let's go to a livestock farm because that makes more money. And you can clearly see you make 500 and 150 from the fertility bonus. So that's 650 gold versus 2,000 chad gold that I make from industry. There we go. So you are wasting essentially 3 slots to make up for what one industry is making for you. So each time I have an industry over here, not only am I getting more money, I'm saving 3 slots. And I still have food left over. If you notice over here, ladies and gentlemen, we are not compromising on food, because remember, if any province is food insufficient, you are going to get screwed over because you lose 25% of your wealth right there and then. So whatever you are making, actual income 12,000. It's going to be 12,000 because I don't have a market here. You're going to lose 25% of that, right? So that's going to come down to, you would come down to 9,544 instead of making 12. That's a dream. But instead of making close to 13,000 gold, right? So what have I done over here? Instead of spamming a bunch of public order and food buildings, I have put in an industry in every place. So I can make all the axes that I want, all the special units that I want. And I've chosen a vanilla unit as Ostrogoths in the barbarian faction. Now I need to balance my food. Now for that reason, while I also have to balance out my public order as much as possible. Over here I have minus 12 public order, but remember, Pannonia, you're going to have armies. You're going to have a governor over here. You are going to be able to manage this public order. If there are revolts, so be it. You'll fight those revolts because you have a bunch of armies stationed in Pannonia. Now, we've thrown in amber because that makes the most amount of money in terms of commerce. It makes 2,500. The Industry buildings of barbarian factions don't make as much as industry buildings as the Sassanids, as the desert factions, as the Romans. They make 2,000. They don't make 2,500, which is the case for those other factions. So you're going to lose a bit. Therefore, we're going to plug in the amber market so that I can get this 2,500. Next, we're going to throw in the mead hall. That does give me a little bit of a problem with sanitation, but it gives me 1,650 gold from culture, which is quite a lot, and it gives me 17 public order. Fantastic. We are going to choose to take the elder hall in each and every one of our provinces. Why? Because I want the research. I want this research because I want to be able to build these buildings. If I have not got research buildings, which is very difficult to do when you play, you don't build research buildings because you want to have money, and mostly they don't give as much money. But the barbarian buildings give you money as well as a little bit of gold. Half of what a mead hall gives you, 825. I'll take it. When you have, for example, Roman buildings, their research halls don't make enough money. So as Western Rome, you're screwed because your library doesn't make money, but as Eastern Roman Empire, you can build the very expensive temples, and Eastern Roman temples give you a research boost, although they cost 2,000 gold in maintenance. So if you want, you can make research as Eastern Roman Empire, but it's difficult. But as the Eastern and Western Roman Empire, you will have so many different directions you're going to get pulled at that you won't have as much time to focus on research. You'll just do military things, but that's a whole different story. We're looking at the barbarian factions only. Now, for the towns, I've thrown in bones as my industry in Sopinai, and in Savaria, I've thrown in bones. Great amount of money. How many industry slots do I have? 1, 2, 3. I've thrown in furs because I won't be able to get food enough to compensate. So I really need the food, and therefore I have plus 30 food left over, with which you can, for example, go to town 2, and you can go to town 2 in both of these, and you would end up with 0 food, which is good. And your public order at the end of the game would be at -10. As I said, it's not something to worry about. Now we made more money. We are suddenly making 10,260 gold minus corruption. Late game, we're making 10,000 from a province which you abandon. So that's money which you don't even ever use, which you don't make use of. Now, that's a terrible province. Now I'm going to go all the way to the top. Let's go to the good provinces, which do make a lot of money. Let's go to Macedonia. Now, in Macedonia, you have got the enormous advantage of being a 3-port city. Pannonia was landlocked, and therefore we have spammed a bunch of commercial farms. We've thrown in industry, so I can still make good money and I can still make my units. And of course, I've chosen to have a basket maker over here because after calculations, I found that basket makers give you 10% on top of commercial buildings. So since this is a very commerce heavy place, I have coupled that with the olive farms which I have over here, and you are going to make a phenomenal amount of 17,000 gold per turn from Macedonia. That's an important province, right? And I've ended up with -5 food. Now I can hear you scream. I can hear you throw a fit. Hey, you've got negative food. But this is a province where you are going to put a governor, and your governor can give you +5 food. But in case you don't want to put a governor, and to demonstrate that I do know what I'm talking about, once you complete research, in the 3rd or 4th tier, you get +5 food across your entire empire. That's your -5 food, +5 food from research. So whenever I am tight for food, like for example in Thracia, I have -10 food, I'm gonna get +5 food from my research, and I'm going to get +5 food from my governor. Now, you are going to put a governor in Thracia. If you're not putting a governor in Thracia, in Macedonia, you're nuts. You're doing it wrong, right? These are places you have to have governors. They're going to reduce your corruption. They are going to give you extra food. They're going to make the buildings cheaper so that you can build all of these buildings. And let's see. Bonus income, I'm making 13,000 gold over here. That's because I do need to keep the public order more or less in check over here, because I won't be having armies in Thracia. My armies are going to be in far-flung places. These are my core provinces. Macedonia, I have the public order down to 0, because I won't have armies over here babysitting, just maybe a governor. Now, if you notice, when we look at Thracia, I have got -4 corruption, -4 sanitation. I've been playing way too much other games to think of corruption. -4 sanitation can give you problem in terms of disease. If you get disease, then you lose growth, which retards building all of these buildings. It also takes away 1 or 2% of your wealth, and as we have established, we want to maximize wealth. But remember, early game, when you do a research, you get +2 sanitation. Again, that's gonna leave -2 left in sanitation, -2, so basically 2 squalor, and that can give disease, but that is something I will go with. But often what you're going to do is I'm going to rely on the governor, get him some kind of a bonus so that he can take out the rest of the squalor. So that's something I can manage. Now, I have balanced this out quite a lot, and this is the best one that I've come for. I have tried to put industries other places, but since this has gotten a gold building, and that's something I've heard other great YouTubers say that, yeah, gold is so difficult to build. It gives you -10 sanitation, -15 public order. I have built gold jewelry building level 4, and I have still come down to no squalor, +3 positive sanitation, and I have brought my public order down to almost 0. Therefore, I couldn't also spam industry. So I couldn't have an industry here because I need that 70 food. I wouldn't be able to get it through anything else. I couldn't make this a commercial farm which would give me more gold, but I would then be starving. I wouldn't have the 90 food that I'm getting over here. Right, so that's really important. Now let's go to a complete nonsense province. This is a province, Dardania. If you go to my video where I talk about Dardania in my playthrough as the Eastern Roman Empire, I say this is a really ridiculous, redonkulously bad province, because again, the Huns attack, you don't have any good resources, and of course this is a frontline province. Therefore, you are always going to have troops over here. So I want you to draw your attention that very late game, this will be a public order nightmare. But I don't care because I want the gold. I will have armies over here. I can fight the revolts, and I can fight a little bit the public order. But I'm getting 10,000 gold from a province like Dardania, which you would throw away after corruption. And on top of that, I have got town level 3 over here. I can maybe make this a town level 2 and make this a town level 2, and I would still be ending up with 0 food, and I would be able to fight off any rebellion. I would be able to fight off the Huns. I have shown how to fight off the Huns early game. So yeah, this wouldn't be a problem province for me. This public order is something that I'm not worried about. What I have got going for me is 10,000 gold. How much money do I spend when I have a all cavalry army with all scout equities, with which I can dominate the entire game? I can really hold the AI's head and drag it through the mud. That cost me 3,000 gold. I have 3 cavalry armies which I can maintain from a nonsense province as Dardania, which you generally throw away. That's what we're talking about. Industry, boys. We're going for industry. We've got 2 industries over here. We've got to build the food buildings. I didn't build. So in case of barbarians, if I have a choice to build an industry over here, I could have thrown an industry and still balanced it. But in an industry building, tier 4 I get 2000, but in the civic amber market I get 2500. So I gain 500 gold, and there is no way I'm going to throw away 500 gold. That's a sixth of an all horse army, which I need. Thrown in a mead hall again for public order, the elder hall for research, and therefore I have gone and thrown up livestock through which I can build cavalry. And this is a frontline province, so I can project my forces very quickly. I can get axes and specialized infantry through my industry building right here. And more bones, more livestock, all power to the horde, and we are going to completely dominate whoever is coming down. Let's look at a middle kind of a province. That's something like Asia, which is a bit of a problem province because it's a jack of all trade, master of none. You don't have good resources, but you have 2 ports, which stops you from spamming industry buildings. But I've still done my best. I've put in 2 industries, and the ports, I have made them fish ports instead of commercial ports, because I don't spam farms and I spam fish fisheries, because fish will not be affected by climate change in Total War Attila. So this is a safe amount of food. Even very late game, I'm still making 90 food, so I'm covered. None of this, even if my fertility value is 0, is going to be affected. My food is not going to, it's going to remain 10 from turn 1 to turn 500. I don't care. It's going to be 10 because I don't have, okay, I have got 1 over here, but yeah, I have put in the extra amount of food that I get over here as 0. Right, there we go. So I would still make plus 10 food very late game. There we go. I surprise myself sometimes. Bithynia, terrible province. Terrible province. I'm making 9,306 gold minus corruption. 9,000 gold. That's 3 cavalry armies right there and then. 3 full cavalry, 19 units of scout cavalry plus your general. That's what we're talking about, guys. Right over here, we've gone ahead, we've spammed our industry, we've put in some goat farms, we've put in fisheries because, yeah, we want to be secure against climate change, boys. Climate change for the win. And we have gone ahead, put in our public order. We are down to public order +4 in Bithynia, a province which is difficult to maintain public order. We have got +4 public order. Early game, we have got -7 public order. This is a place which will be frontline, so you will have troops over here. So you won't be having rebellions here for forever. So let's go to a great province like Cilicia. Cilicia is a fantastic province. This is something I love. Why? Because it's got olives. What does olives give me? Olives give me a bunch of food. If I scroll right here, where's my food? Oh, right here. I'm blind. I get 170 food, which is climate independent. So no matter what turn you are in, this will always give you 170 food. That's fantastic. I have shown in commercial ports, 2 commercial ports, and your olive farms are going to give you a buff on commercial buildings. So you're going to get 20% buff on your 2 commercial buildings right here. I have shown in industry, as I promised, more industry and some livestock, because I can get to -20 food, but this is a place where I will have a governor, where I will have my benefit from the late game research, and I will be able to balance this food out. And in case you're worried, I can lower this down to town 2. I was just trying to squeeze that extra bit of money, and there we go, +10 food. You have got -6 public order, but with a governor in Cilicia, you're putting a governor because this makes a lot of money. Minus corruption, 11,000 gold. Ladies and gentlemen, this is almost 12,000 gold. 12,000 gold is 4 armies filled with cavalry. Think of those horses going across the entire world, dominating. That's what you're going to do with industry. Enough of farms. Cappadocia, come on, how much money? 8,000. That's almost 8,400 for +3 public order, +20 food. All of my sanitation is taken care of. Industry spammed, boys. Industry spammed. Industry is going to change the world. We have made the ancient world, or the high late antiquity period, go to the industrial revolution through all the industry that we can think of. Certain places, of course, I'll talk about Syria last. This is a place where I couldn't spam, because this is a bit of a nonsense province, because you do get two ports, but yeah, sometimes having ports actually precludes your ability to spam industry, but you can get more money through getting commercial buildings. So I actually prefer landlocked provinces, because then I am pretty sure I would be able to put in an industry building, get my troops out at the pressure points. This province, if this were Frontline, I would have difficulty recruiting soldiers right here. So I would be able to not have armies. These armies would have to travel to Syria to do the fighting. But when you play as the Eastern Roman Empire, this is not a frontline city. This is just behind, so you're pretty fine. As Western Rome, you would arrive over here, but that's a different template. Suppose as a barbarian faction, you would arrive over here, but you would have industry behind you, because you would have Bithynia built up, you would have Cappadocia built up. Nonsense provinces filled with industry. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that I've been able to convince you that industry is the way forward for playing Attila Total War. And I want to go all the way up to, of course, thank the guy called Caesar Dor, who made this way back in 2015 when the game came out. I'll include a link on how to download this. All I have done is that I've put in extra cells, like what my actual income should be, because I factored in other things like growth and due to buildings, etc. I put in how much should it be given the corruption, so you can change actually the corruption to 40%. And then see what it would be very late game, so on and so forth. These are little things that you can go ahead and do. You can, of course, change it right here. I'm sorry, 40%, and then you would get the revised values over here. We are going to, of course, play on legendary difficulty. Public order is going to be at -8. We're going to keep taxes at normal and still make a lot of money. So this will be it. This will be a little short one. If you're more interested in this, please let me know. I'll make other videos on how I make industry for other factions. This is the Goths, which have the Ostrogoths, which is a barbarian faction which don't have good industry, giving a lot of money. But I have other also lined up, as you can see, Ebdanians, so on and so forth. A lot of things to come. Please let me know your interest on this. Thank you, and stay cool. This has been the Strategic Indian, signing out.